Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Is it PD and PDubs Unscripted?
Yeah, that's what it is. Boy, it's been so long that we've forgotten our own name.
Forgotten our name, but we're coming live to you from the Spirit in the Sky studio.
Ooh, going up to the spirit in the sky.
So you can see we finally kind of decided on a name that one of our listeners suggested and thought it's a great, we talk about the Holy Spirit. It's also got the great song Spirit in the Sky. I can't think who sings that originally.
I can't either, but I remember it was a favorite on Rock Band where I would play the bass, and it was a nice, steady beat. So I was able to get a lot of points on Rock Band on Spirit in the Sky.
Norman Greenbaum?
Oh, Norman Greenbaum. That's right. Yeah.
No, that's the joys of having a computer right here to look up these things. We need somebody else that we can be like, hey, check up this stat for us.
Yeah, we need a producer or something.
Somebody that can check up on these things when we have these crazy things that we don't know what we're talking about or trying to look up something.
We need help, that's for sure. If it wasn't for Pastor PD, looking things up lickety split, we'd be in hot water.
Right. So thankful to have a laptop right here where I can Google things very quickly. But yeah, so it's good to be back in the studio here recording, and it's kind of crazy that it was this long. Summer just flew by.
Wow, we were clicking along, doing real good with our podcasts, and then it was, servant trips and, things like that for the school that, pulled Pastor away, and we were still trying to pre-record, and we did all that. And
getting some of the students to help.
And then we hit June where it was VBS preparation, and then Shining Stars, and then we actually do the camps and
some vacations, youth gatherings, COVID for me.
Yeah, Pastor got the COVID bug, and it really, we were on a stretch, I remember, where it seemed like we weren't even seeing each other in person for a number of weeks.
Yeah. But looking at our numbers here, we had from February until when we kind of stopped. I mean, we did one in June, couple in June, few in June, and then one in July.
Yeah.
But from February till that point, we did 46 podcasts.
That's something.
So that's a lot of podcasts. So maybe that little hiatus gave people time to catch up.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? And we're glad to be back, and we're sorry that we had a little bit of a break. But as you kind of have gathered, our schedules were crazy, and it was just hard to get together.
Not synced up very well.
Yeah, and but that's life in ministry, and that's life for everyone. Sometimes you hit those busy seasons, which, people say, oh, Pastor, I'll bet you're going to have a nice, relaxing, slow summer, and it's everything but.
Right.
But we wouldn't trade it for the world, because it's an opportunity for us to do a lot of fun things, particularly outdoors and into our community and things like that. So, but time just flew by.
Right, because, talking about some of the events, and that's what we're going to kind of do here today is kind of recap kind of the summer at Immanuel, and just looking at some of those things, I was kind of going through my mind now thinking, we had VBS, Shining Stars, NYG, even ILS Fest, and then the BBBQ. So those are four pretty major things going on, and I remember talking to you during the week of VBS going, okay, I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah.
While you were stressing out about Shining Stars, and I was like, that was me last week thinking about all that. But I guess we start with VBS.
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's kind of go chronological order, because, I know we had also, the school, Summer Academy.
Summer Academy kind of led things off in June.
Summer Academy and Discovery Camp.
Discovery Camp goes all the way through the summer. And remembering we had Nicole Mathis on our podcast. And so, they did a great job. Amazing camp. So, it was more than just what we were involved in.
Right, and then also 4th of July parade, because then we also had Sophie and Maggie and to talk about the 4th of July parade that Immanuel took part of.
Right.
So there's a lot of little things, but I guess VBS, because that's one of the things we were more connected with. Not saying we weren't with Discovery Camp or Summer Academy, but VBS, I know how that went pretty well.
Yeah, you were the primary leader, and I was right there with you participating. And
helping with the games and with...
Yeah, I'll tell you, if you didn't match me up with, Barb, who is a gym instructor for school, she was awesome. So it was like everything I needed, and she just kind of said, oh, we're going to do this, do that, and then me and the other helpers just like helped out where we could, and it was a lot of fun.
Right. It looked a lot of fun when I was kind of floating around.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder where you were during the openings of VBS because I never quite saw you at the opening.
I was busy. You know, I had like pastoral things, senior pastor things to do.
Okay.
And I was always feeling like I was showing up right after that opening thing was done.
Yeah.
And I would catch the kids on the way out, and I don't know. Some of them said that I was,
a puppet?
a puppet, and I'm like, I didn't know how to take that.
Yeah, like you're not Scuba Steve, you're Warren Schilf.
I am me, yeah, and I don't know what they were referring to, but anyway, yeah.
But yeah, the puppets made an appearance, helping us each day at the beginning, which was always great to get the puppets out there.
Yeah, we had Scuba Steve, and who else did we have?
I think we had Izzy and Jim.
Yeah, Jim Dandy made an appearance.
Did Stanley?
It
all runs together.
Runs together. He probably did somewhere along the way.
But yeah, I don't think Luigi joined us.
No, Luigi didn't.
And also, Billy Bob, the bean salesman, did not join us. I heard there was a little controversy that he did not join.
Oh boy,
there was some demand for him, which we failed.
He's got a fan base now.
Yeah, he has a fan base, and we failed to meet the demands of that fan base.
Well, you only have so much time, right? So, yeah, it was fun nonetheless, and we had a lot of kids come to the camp.
Yeah, about 130, 140 kids, and also got to give a big shout out to like Patty and Kari and all those that helped with the decorations. I know Maggie helped with the decorations. Jenny Lobbs, our worship director. All these people made some wonderful decorations that I know I couldn't do.
Yeah, it really punched up our camp a lot, and those visuals, it's fun to look at and fun to have every day, and it helps the kids, helps them get excited, because they see the effort that's going into it.
Right. Our theme, like we talked about on the podcast when we were talking about VBS, was make waves, how we can change the world around us, which I just love that theme.
Yep.
And that's why I selected the Think Orange VBS this year with Make Waves, and like the kids seem to have a blast. Like there was an air of excitement going on, and
yeah, from every station that the kids were moving around through in the morning time, they were very well behaved. They were getting along with each other, enjoying their leaders and their teachers. And, it was like the Lord really blessed the week in all of us. And, as anything, you're always going to have some kind of unexpected things or hiccups, but I think they were pretty minimal from what I can remember. And we adjusted when we were confronted with something, and it worked out really good.
Yeah, because I think the biggest problem, which was like just a technological one, and that was the whole planning center of the program we used to check everybody in, crashing 30 minutes before the first day of VBS. So that was not very fun because I was trying to put that fire out. And then people are coming with questions as is the first day, and I'm like, I can only do one thing at a time here.
Right, I know, and that's got to be hard for you as you were leading, but hopefully you had enough help to help you through, and we're grateful for all the volunteers because, I think you had 30 or some volunteers,
40 volunteers,
wow.
And people stepping up when maybe people got sick. Some of our leaders and other people stepping up, some of our youth stepping up, saying, "Hey, we can take the lead of this area." Like I know that happened with snacks, and that was really awesome to see some middle school and some high school students come together and just run with the snacks.
Yeah, that was fantastic. When you empower people, they step up and they feel like they're taking ownership and they're glad to help out, and especially when they see a need. And wow, it's so great to see when our young people do that, our teens and things like that, and it really shows them that they're valued and they're contributing, and that's a great thing.
Right, and VBS is, as we talked about, I'm sure on the podcast, how it's a great outreach into the community where we do get other people that are not connected to Immanuel or maybe just connected through the school. So it was great to see all those and the bonding that happens with the leaders and their classes or their sessions or their little breakout areas, whether it's music or crafts or games or snacks. That's all of them, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then just seeing all that. So that was a really awesome week where the kids got to learn and grow. And I don't know, I loved how the Bible studies were placed. I know Mary Jo, one of our main leaders for the Bible study, said she loved how they were laid out, the lesson plans.
Yeah.
So that's always a good
choice.
thing.
Yeah.
So,
and even like coming out of chapel today, I had a couple of little ones coming out of chapel, probably like kindergartners or kindergartners. I remember you from VBS,
right,
so like they have great memories. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember you too. And like, you remember me? Yeah, I
yeah,
remember you. And so it's kind of fun. But the fact that, that they're still thinking about VBS, in a positive
right.
way
That's
says like maybe we made an impact.
right. And so, yeah, I know I heard that. I think I had somebody say something to me about shining stars. But my favorite, there's one now, this child's in first grade. Every time they see me, they're like, "You baptized my brother."
Oh, cool.
And it's like, yep, I baptized. Like, it happened all last year. It's still happening this year already. So it's like, what a cool thing that they can put two and two together and just like, it was a great day anytime a baptism takes place.
For sure. Yeah. So great. It was a great camp again this year, and loved the theme and the shirts and the songs. The kids really participated and enjoyed the songs, and we had song leaders, and it was just fantastic. So
Yeah, and so that couldn't have been possible without all of our volunteers. So I know I'm personally grateful for all those volunteers for the helping me be able to put this on, because if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't have been able to happen.
Right. And same, everything that we're talking about goes true for the Shining Stars the following week. And
why do we do them back-to-back weeks?
I don't know, because we're just crazy men.
I guess.
And we think, oh, we'll just get past it and life will be simpler. And there's always another thing ahead.
Right.
I don't know, but enough to catch your breath, I suppose.
That weekend gets your breath back.
Yeah. I mean, but we're done with Shining Stars, and we typically run into the 4th of July parade. But this year I was taken up to Milwaukee for a wedding. So I was literally got done with Shining Stars, cleaned it up, loaded up my van, ran home, showered, changed, got ready to head up to Milwaukee. So left my van loaded with baseball stuff for the entire weekend and came back, and I'm like, oh man, there's a lot of stuff in there. But the Lord blessed us with fantastic weather.
I think that was the best weather in my 6 years of doing Shining Stars that we've had.
Yeah, I think it might have been the second year where we had the ability to be outside every day.
And that was my first year.
I think so.
I don't remember being indoor that week. So
yeah. So it doesn't happen much, and boy, even when there was rain predicted for that Friday morning, I was like watching, and it was supposed to have rain come at 10, and I'm like, is it even worth bringing them out at 9 to go home by 10? And so I was like positioning myself to cancel it, but I woke up at 4 a.m. the next morning, and it was like as though the system just went around us, and I thought, I almost can't believe it, but let's try it.
Yeah, because I know that Thursday night I went to Summerfest, so I got home later, and I went to bed, and after Summerfest I was like, 40% chance of rain. Okay. That, okay. Not looking too promising, but who knows?
Yeah.
Then I wake up a few hours later, it's like 0%. I was like, what happened?
What just happened?
It wasn't like it was like a day in advance. It was just a few hours.
Well, even the day before, it was warmer, and there was some humidity in the air, and but there was a wind that kind of helped us all kind of deal with the heat, because that was supposed to be I think it was heat indices of up near 100. And so I was kind of worried about that. And so we took our break, and we got everybody under the gazebo where it's shady, and it kind of rejuvenated everybody, adults and kids alike.
Not me. I had tired legs, but you wouldn't let me take time off.
No, sir. No, there's you're not like the White Sox.
Tired
you have
legs.
to stay in the game and keep running hard.
Nope, I had tired legs and I couldn't rest.
But then, we let everybody out for the last bit of that
last hour or so.
Yeah, which is the 11 o'clock hour, and it was almost like out of the blue, the wind shifted, coming out of wherever, and then started coming from the northeast, and it cooled things down. And I'm like, wow, Lord, you provided this cool breeze right at the right time, because everybody was kind of dragging. And, because Thursday, it's like everybody's got, all excitement the first 2 days. And then like, okay, I made it to halfway through Wednesday. You feel like you've accomplished something. And then by Thursday, everybody's like, oh, here we are again. What are we going to do today?
Back to the salt mine.
Yeah. And then that was the hot day. And I thought, oh, thank you, Lord, for providing some reprieve and cool breeze. And that helped carry us the rest of the day. And then Friday was fantastic. Remember, we were so prepared for weather on Friday. We handed out our Bibles and our baseball cards on Thursday. And then, we were back and we still had some more Bibles and a lot more baseball cards. So we did it again. And those kids got a lot of baseball cards, which is okay.
It's always fun hearing them like, is this guy any good?
Mm-hmm.
I think I had that with an Andre Dawson card. Someone's like, is this guy any good?
Yeah, wow.
I'm like, what? He's the only guy to win MVP on a last place team?
Probably 1987, I think, is when
I thought 88, but it's something like
maybe it was 88. But so he's a good catch on the cards. But I was handing out stacks, like pretty thick stacks, because I got thousands of cards and I just want to get rid of them,
Right.
And one of the moms came back and she's like, now you give Pastor all these cards back. These are too many. I said, no, please. It's okay. Take them. And she looked at me like, oh, that's too many for him. I go, please, no, it is not too many. Let him enjoy them,
You're just selling your future inheritance for your kids.
I guess I am. I don't know what I'm doing.
There's probably cards worth thousands of dollars.
Well, there probably is. And, someone else can have the benefit. Yeah.
But that is a great week, and we're so thankful for the generous donation of the Bibles each year, the last 2 years, to put a Bible in these kids' hands.
And boy, do they just love them.
Right, they just dive right into them, and so that's great because I know we've talked about how last year parents were like, my kid was reading the whole way home.
And even the day one of the camp, I had a couple of kids come up, and one I remember in particular, who said, Pastor, my dad and I, we're almost done with the Bible that you gave us last year, and we're reading the Revelation part. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing that they kind of did it so much that they were almost done, almost like Bible in a year, right? And I said, well, that's fantastic. So that was really wonderful to hear. And even though, we have a lot of returnees from the camp, I think we had donated to us 140 Bibles. I think we gave out 115. So people were getting the mindset of well, take one from my friend or my
Give
cousin.
It to someone. And I think you kind of said that when you passed them out. But that is always, I don't know, it's one of my favorite weeks of the year.
It is, yeah.
Because I miss playing baseball. Get to teach a little bit.
Yeah.
Get to connect Jesus and baseball.
Yeah, your devotions are fantastic. And the kids really, they understand, how you're tying certain baseball events and circumstances. And
can we make a rule for next year that's only new people so I can keep using the same devotions?
Yeah, I know. But you do a good job, and kids seem to engage, and it was fun. I think one morning we sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and
everybody yelled their favorite team to win.
Yeah, that's always fun just to hear that. And
it's just a blah blah.
Yeah, it's like a cacophony of noise.
Right.
So
that's a big. You've been using some big words today.
Well, what was the other big word?
The one about another term for donkeys in
in chapel.
Yeah, in chapel.
Oh, dromedary.
Dromedary. That's a big word.
Well, I had to read it.
I know.
It was in the Bible.
That's why I let you do this week's chat. I looked at those words.
Oh, that's why you were not so keen on.
Did you see those towns you had to read? Tarshish and Pool and was it
Lud or Lud, L-U-D, Lud, and yeah.
I was like, as you were reading through that, I was like, ooh, I dodged a bullet here.
I felt like it was the Pentecost reading.
The Cretans, the Medes, and the
Parthenons or whatever. Yeah, but so I guess that one just came off the tip of my tongue. Something, cacophony.
There, man, you are a scholar.
A scholar in my own mind.
But and speaking of another kind of softball, baseball related thing, we also had Immanuel, as far as I know, first softball team this year.
Yeah, I mean, in certainly in modern history, maybe in the 70s there was a team, but I don't remember there being one that said Immanuel and was sponsored by Immanuel. There were people who were on the Immanuel Church who formed a team, But that was so fun. And, I think that was the key is we just had fun no matter what happened.
Right. And so for those that don't know, we had the Immanuel bench warmers.
Yes, we finally arrived to a team name about 4 games in.
There's a lot of discussion about team names, and some not too well liked, some more liked than others.
Yeah, the one day you weren't there, and I was like, okay, what do we name our team? And then someone came up with it, and I'm like, oh, what do you think? And nobody said no. And I think it was,
I know what it
was. So I'm like, all right, that's our team. And so,
and then I tell everybody in an email, and everybody's like, really?
Why are we naming us that?
Really?
Like, well, that's what they said they wanted to be.
So that's okay. I got to keep that in mind. Anytime we got any news to share, you got to be the one to share it because it's always well received. When I share it, it's just like, well, what?
No. Well, obviously, I didn't poll the whole group.
But yeah, with the bench warmers, we went 2-9 with our one playoff game, and some exciting games.
Yeah, there were games where 2 games. I feel like I said before, if we won 1 game only, someone could say, oh, they got lucky. But at least we won 2, so it adds a little credibility.
And there's a third one we could have won.
We could have won. We were not pleased with the call. But
I heard Joe West was behind home plate that day.
Yeah, it was. And I threw out like 18 baseball bats onto the field like Andre Dawson.
Nice throwback there to earlier in the podcast.
Yeah. And no, I didn't do that. But we just, we were not pleased with the call, and we just, we lost.
Maybe Angel Hernandez was umping it.
Yeah. But, and it was a quick exit in the playoffs. They were clearly prepared.
But I mean, as we kind of talked about after that last game, you could see the improvement on our team. Mm-hmm. Like everybody improved a little bit, and we kind of figured out how to better position ourselves defensively.
Yeah. I remember there was one game. I can't remember if you were there. I don't think you were. You might have been in NYG. And we had, like 5 or 6 plays where there was a runner on first. And it would be a ground ball to third over at Claude, and he would throw over to Liz at second base, and Liz W, and over at second base, and she caught every one of them, and we had like 5 or 6 putouts on ground balls to third, throw to second, and we're like, this is amazing. And so at the end of the game, I gave the game ball to Liz W.
Nice.
And so, you caught all those throws from Claude, and, you sealed the deal. You stayed on the base, and she was just, surprised. Like, what are you giving me the ball for?
The good old game, passing on the game ball.
The game ball, yeah. Well, those are the times, if you got the game ball, you just oh, this is awesome. And then, I remember as a kid, the coach is getting ready to hand out the game ball, and there's this bit of excitement, anticipation, and you're hoping that you get the game ball, and then when you don't, you're like, all right, well, I guess he did pretty good.
But then you got all happy when you got your Capri Sun and your snacks, your fruit snacks after the game.
Right.
I should have brought that one game with some Capri Sun and fruit snacks.
Yeah. Well, I think in my day, we were really happy when we get to go to Dairy Queen and get a Mr. Misty or an ice cream cone, and I'd get these purple Mr. Misties, and I'd get brain freezes because I'm sucking it down too quick.
Nothing beats sitting in the outfield after the game, enjoying your snacks that the parents brought.
Exactly. And then as a kid, you begin to size up the snack. Oh, really? This is all we get? It's applesauce and a cracker?
This is not what I signed up for.
Yeah. Whose parent did this?
I didn't sign up for playing softball or baseball to get this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a great time, and we're hoping to do it again next summer. And then you kind of mentioned in there when I was missing a couple of weeks was for the NYG. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the next really kind of big thing was a national youth gathering where we had 8 of our youth and 2 moms and myself chaperone our kids down to Houston, Texas. A cool little place. Not so hot, but got to go to Houston for the national youth gathering with about 20,000 other kids from around the country. Enjoy some great breakout sessions. I know our kids love that.
Mm-hmm.
They also loved the worship time. One of the breakout sessions I went to was Scott Linebrink, who was a former Major League Baseball player.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so it's kind of neat to hear him talking how God used that platform to start his new kind of ministry of doing stuff with water, like helping get water into countries that don't have clean water, and how he is getting other former Major League Baseball players involved in this. And now this is going to be great podcasting as I show him a picture, but this was one of the pictures he had that he showed everybody on the screen when he was talking about his day and age. And Pastor will know exactly, P-Dubs will know exactly why I had to take that picture.
Yeah, he's getting pulled by Ozzie and the manager. Very nice.
But I'm just like, man, of all the pictures I put up on the screen is when you're getting pulled from a game, because Ozzie doesn't look too happy.
No, he doesn't right there.
And so,
wow.
So that was neat, and I know our kids really enjoyed the ones about anxiety, making choices, and they enjoyed doing some of the arts and crafts things. We had a service project of helping to build a trail for the one local church in the Houston area, which was, laying the track down and putting down the gravel and flattening it, and so that was cool, and it was kind of a unique situation because I was getting ready to leave. I don't know if I ever told you this story. I was getting ready to leave, get on the bus to go back, and somebody's like, Don, and I was like, turn around, it was the associate pastor of the congregation.
Okay.
I think our time overlapped a little bit at seminary. Pretty sure it did when I was in Central Illinois District, but his wife was a member at St. Matthew Barrington, my home congregation.
Okay.
So that's why he kind of knew me. So then he's like, well, come say hi to my wife, and it's like, okay, what I gotta the bus is getting ready to leave. So then I'm like, oh, they're shutting the door. I'm like, I gotta go. So I'm running back to the bus to.
Did you make it?
Yeah, I made it, but it was just one of those what of all the churches in the Houston area to go and help volunteer at.
Right.
Was that one where there was a little bit of a connection, and I know I texted you when I was there because I loved what they called their kind of senior citizen group.
Oh, right, yeah.
They called themselves the Hogs, the Happy Old Geezer Society.
Yeah, I want to be known when I get to that age as an old geezer.
But yeah, so it was pretty funny because they all had baseball hats on that said Hogs.
Nice.
And they were helping us out when we were doing all the stuff for the trail because they have a nice mile kind of walkway that can take to the one nursing home, senior living facility. And they thought it'd be a nice place for their members to maybe do some prayer walks out in nature.
Very cool.
So that was cool. Worship was amazing, as we talked about when we had worship. We also got to do some sightseeing by going to the NASA Space Center, which was really cool. Our kids loved going to that, and one of the cool things was going to see the original mission control from where all the Apollo missions took place.
Yeah, wow.
So just thinking of the history in that room, and that's
for sure.
Where the whole Houston, we have a problem came from.
Yeah. Think of all the minds that had to come up with solutions and understand what was going on. It's just probably brilliant people in those rooms.
Right. And it's kind of funny because we were just going and they're taking us up. They're like, okay, we're going to go up the stairs. When we go down, we're going to sit in the areas where the families would sit and watch their loved ones when they were doing their thing. Mm-hmm. In front of you, they're all the original seating, but in front of you, there might be something on the chair in front of you. It's not a cell phone holder. It's for it's an ashtray for cigarettes. So it's just showing the time. And then even in kind of how they redid the mission control, they did have ashtrays on on the different desks with fake cigarettes in them. I'm like,
oh, wow.
What a sign of the time, man. I'm sure back in the 60s when all that was going commonplace, but now you would not see that.
Yeah, that's so true.
So that was kind of one of those unique things. And even when we're there, they're like, okay, we're going to sit down, we're going to show this presentation. And they turned on all the computer type deal things. And they had all set, and they had the final 5 minutes of, was it Apollo? What Apollo landed on the moon? Well, whatever one Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong was on. But they did the 5 minutes of that descending onto the moon and him walking on the moon.
Wow.
And all the stuff on the screens was exactly what was going on the screens in that moment.
Wow, that's cool.
So that's cool thing, the history that happened there.
Yeah. Very cool that you were able to go do that and spend a good portion of a day there.
Right.
And, it sounds like it was really fun for everyone. You know?
And obviously the most important thing about the NYG was just the growth of our youth and their faith and them seeing that they're not alone, that there's other kids their age, and that maybe some of the struggles they have aren't unique to themselves. Because I think that's something kids struggle with is I'm the only one who struggles with whatever issue I'm dealing with. Yeah,
because I don't want to talk to anybody about it. Or I have no one to talk about it. And so, the natural inclination is to think you're all by yourself in it. And, that is a great part of it. And, they're meeting kids who, of all walks of life around the United States. And, I know the spirit of happiness just totally exists there, and they're kind of willing to meet others. And
Right, because like to me, like I shared with people, how I was like kind of like COVID wasn't a thing down there. Whereas like prior to COVID, I was wondering how they're going to do this because like in previous years, you see all the kids high fiving each other, walking down the hallways, walking in the stadium,
right,
kids holding up signs that say free hugs.
Yeah.
And all that was still going on. So I was like, guess COVID doesn't exist down here in Houston.
Yeah. Well, and then as you came back, gets us to the next thing of our community meal where we had our outdoor cookout, and that's always a fan favorite. And we had a beautiful day that we got, and a lot of people helping, and I think we handed out around 200 meals that day, and that was great. And you were there. That was your first day back, and then you kind of had some bad news the next day, and so
next day or so, and so then I was kind of kaput for about a week.
Yeah, that whole virus kind of hit you, and maybe it was God's way to slow you down a bit.
Maybe, and like it was one of those weird things because I was like, well, I guess I can just sit here binge TV and movies all day, and nobody can say anything to me that I should be doing something because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, resting.
Yeah.
And so, it was just a lot of binging on TV and movies. I'd wake up, okay, let's watch a couple movies. Let's watch a TV show now.
Right.
Sit in the recliner. I'm going to go lay on the couch. Back to the recliner. And then take care of the dog the best I could and kind of keep her distance so I didn't give her COVID because they say you can get it.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing I need.
Right. Yeah, and then we rolled out of that into Backpack Blessings and Barbecue, and another fantastic effort there by so many people. That event has many moving parts, and those who were in charge of their areas carried it out beautifully and marvelously, and God brought it all together and helped us share a good message and had a great day of fun and games and good food and fellowship.
Another day that God blessed with wonderful weather. It wasn't too hot, not too cold, no rain.
Yeah, no rain, because wasn't it the prior day it rained pretty well?
I think so. And I know the prior Sunday it did because I think you were still on vacation and our softball game got canceled. Because I remember driving into church that Sunday thinking, man, I'm happy it's this weekend and not next weekend because we've had to do the BBBQ at Immanuel rained out.
I know. We did it, but
but it's not the same.
No. And so, we got to be outside, which, was fantastic. And we praised the Lord out in our community, and that was fantastic. And saw a lot of joyful looks on faces. We blessed our teachers, our students, and their backpacks.
And the backpacks that we're giving to Virginia Lake Schools, one of the schools here in Palatine.
Yeah, 50 backpacks. And
supplies, not just backpacks, the supplies are in them.
Exactly, age appropriate or grade appropriate. And so a lot of combined effort, volunteers. And that's why I really enjoy the summer, because it's an opportunity for people, during good weather to step out and help out,
right,
and give back a little bit. And so as you can hear, friends, there is plenty of opportunity for us to share the love of God to our community and to serve and to come alongside, meet new friends, and just enjoy what God does among us. And it's almost like the whole, if you build it, he will come, kind of thing. And so every year we build it, and God blesses it. So.
Right, and now we're back with school starting back up. We had a great opening chapel outdoors last Wednesday, and now it's, we'll have another community meal coming up probably in a couple months.
Maybe in October,
And then, so a lot of great things coming up. The fun doesn't just end in summer. It keeps going.
Yeah, we got a trunk or treat coming up.
Fall Fest.
Fall Fest, trunk or treat, and it's a little bit bigger than trunk or treat. So looking forward to that, October 23rd.
And don't worry for Bears fans, they play Monday night that week.
That's right.
So you won't be missing a Bears game.
We would never deprive our Bear fans of their Beardom.
But the question is, will the Bears be worthwhile watching at that point?
It's always a question.
Because I can guarantee you one thing, neither Chicago baseball team will be playing in the playoffs at that point.
No, they will be long packed up and ready to go for the winter.
I think both teams will be golfing as soon as the season ends.
Yeah. So, that's a wrap on our summer, and we're thankful that you would listen to us share about how God uses us to reach others, and like we've been talking, we just plant seeds, and we try and measure like how many people came or where they came from, and if we can reach them to maybe become part of our community. And but you know what, God's the one who makes those things grow and happen. And if we're just helping people along the way, a journey of life, and point them to Jesus, we're happy to do it.
Right. And kind of one kind of programming note, like we still plan to do our normal 3 podcasts with the faith intersections, deeper dive, and community connections. But this year we're going to add a little something different starting this fall. As in the years past, I used to teach a class for our middle school, our electives called Faith and Pop Culture, where we'd watch a TV show or listen to music and discuss the theology behind it. But this year, we're doing a podcasting elective. So I'm leading a podcast elective with our middle school throughout the year. So the kids are going to learn how to podcast. They're going to join me on the podcast to record, probably 2 days worth of recording each week, kind of, because there's like 10 and 12 kids in some of these electives, and having 10 people on this podcast at once will be way too many.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of break it down in smaller groups so they can talk on the same topic. I'm going to teach the kids how to edit the said podcast, how to put it up on Anchor, the website we use. And so look forward to having those podcasts come out. So they'll probably come out on maybe a Tuesday or a Thursday, not to interrupt our normal ones, but just to get our kids on there, because they loved being on the podcast last school year when they talked about Sea Camp, Wall Camp, Mission Trip, what they love about Immanuel. So we thought this would be a good way and a skill that kids could be using later on in their life, because podcasts, I don't think are going to go away anytime soon.
I don't think so either. And they seem to really like it a lot. So I can't wait to see what you guys generate together, and hopefully, friends, that you'll enjoy it as well. So, hey, it was great to get back and see you across the table, partner.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you, everybody, for listening. God's blessings.